Welcome to the Read and Rise Book Club. Today we will explore the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Let's dive deep with comprehensive summaries showcased in 3 separate parts. You will get action-oriented plan with different examples here to grow exponentially in each area of your life. Let me ask you something. What if everything you've ever wanted, wealth, confidence, purpose, freedom, wasn't locked in the world around you, but in the way you think? For 25 years, Napoleon Hill studied the world's most powerful minds and uncovered one truth: riches begin in thought. Every fortune, every breakthrough, every empire started with one invisible spark, an idea fueled by desire and belief. In the next few minutes, you'll discover how to awaken that same power, how to turn thought into action, faith into force, and dreams into results. Because Think and Grow Rich isn't just a book, it's a manual for becoming unstoppable. Welcome to Read and Rise Book Club. Your transformation begins now. Part 1, The Awakening, the concept of fire within. You and I both know something simple but profound. Every great story starts with a moment of decision, not chance, not luck. A line in the sand where a person says, "Enough. I will rise." That moment is where your story begins. Napoleon Hill called it desire, the starting point of all achievement. And if you want to understand why some people build empires while others drift through half-finished dreams, this is it. Desire isn't a wish. It's a command issued to life itself. Most people never give themselves permission to want something badly enough. They talk about what they'd like one day, but they never set fire to it. So life gives them exactly what they asked for. Maybe someday, almost. Hill spent 25 years studying hundreds of the most powerful minds on earth. He discovered that every single success began with one phrase whispered in the dark: I will. Not I might, not I'll try. It is always, I will. The law of desire. Listen carefully. If you can't name exactly what you want, you can't have it. The universe doesn't respond to confusion. Napoleon Hill laid out a law, a sequence so simple that most ignore it. 1. Decide precisely what you want. 2. Know what you'll give in return. 3. Set a definite date. 4. Create the plan and begin at once. 5. Write the statement. 6. Repeat it aloud every morning and every night until belief burns itself into your soul. That's not superstition. That's neuroscience before we had the word for it. You are programming your own mind. Right now, if I asked you, what do you truly want? Would you answer clearly, or would you pause? If you pause, start here. Write it down. Name it. Price it. Own it. Desire is the match. Faith is the oxygen. Action is the explosion. Without desire, the rest of Hill's philosophy collapses. This is where you light the fuse. Quick pause. If you're getting value from this video, go ahead and hit like button right now and subscribe to join this community of growth-minded people. We're building something powerful here, and I want you to be part of it. The invisible bridge. Every fire you start will be tested by when. Life wants to know if you truly mean it. That's when most people quit, right when the storm is proof they were getting close. The difference between the ones who make it and the ones who vanish into excuses is one word: faith, not blind hope, not superstition. Faith is certainty without evidence, the muscle that holds your desire upright when there's nothing else left to lean on. Faith, the second principle of Think and Grow Rich. Hill called faith the head chemist of the mind. It's the unseen laboratory where thoughts are mixed with emotion until they harden into reality. You can't buy faith, you build it. You build it the same way you build strength, by lifting what feels heavy until it doesn't. Every time you choose belief over doubt, you add another brick to the bridge that will carry you across impossibility. Let me talk to you straight. There will be nights when the dream feels ridiculous, when people you respect roll their eyes at your conviction, when results mock your effort. That's the test. The universe wants to know, will you believe in the unseen long enough for it to become seen? Faith isn't waiting. It's acting while waiting. It's saying, I will continue to move even when I cannot yet measure progress. Hill wrote, faith is the only known antidote for failure. He didn't mean it in a sermon sense. He meant it as science. Your subconscious mind cannot distinguish between truth and belief. It simply obeys whatever is repeated with emotion. That's where the next principle comes in. Auto-suggestion. Auto-suggestion, commanding the mind. Auto-suggestion is not chanting empty phrases. It's intentional mental programming. You talk to yourself every day anyway. The question is, what language are you using? Every "I can't," every "maybe later," every "who am I to?" That's programming too. You've been hypnotizing yourself without knowing it. Hill said it plainly. Through repeated suggestion, one can voluntarily develop faith. Let that sink in. Faith isn't found, it's installed. When you repeat your goal statement aloud, morning and night, you're issuing direct orders to your subconscious. Do it with feeling, not mumbling. Emotion is voltage. Repetition is wiring. Together, they hardwire belief. Here's how you use it. 1. Find a quiet space. 2. Read your definite purpose statement aloud twice a day. 3. Visualize it already real. 4. Feel the satisfaction of completion right now. 5. Then act in alignment with that feeling the rest of the day. You are re-educating the most powerful instrument you own, your mind. Let me be clear, your mind will resist at first. It's comfortable with old commands, but persistence recodes the system. Keep feeding it faith until doubt starves. From belief to biology, modern science now proves what Hill intuited decades ago. Thoughts fire neural patterns. Repetition strengthens them. Emotion seals them. You literally change the physical wiring of your brain through repetition of belief. So when Hill said, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve, he was describing neuroplasticity before the word existed. That means the future you imagine isn't fantasy. It's a construction site. And faith is the foreman standing over it saying, keep building. Every successful person you've ever admired had moments of terror. They just refused to stay there. They used faith as fuel, auto-suggestion as the steering wheel. When fear showed up, they talked back. No, this is who I am becoming. This is what I'm building. This is already mine, do the same. When fear whispers, answer with instruction, not surrender. The mechanics of certainty. Here's how faith operates in practice. 1. Desire gives you the target. 2. Faith supplies the emotional current. 3. Auto-suggestion keeps the current flowing in one direction. That's the invisible machinery behind every miracle that later gets called luck. People see the outcome and call it coincidence. They never see the thousands of inner repetitions that made coincidence inevitable. You must decide now that you will no longer let the external world dictate your internal weather. The mind creates before matter confirms. Hold the image until the world has no choice but to rearrange itself. The enemy of faith. You'll meet it soon if you haven't already. It is fear. Hill identified 6 versions: poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, and death. Fear is persuasive. It speaks in your own voice. But it's a liar. Here's how you silence it. Act. Even a small action starves fear of oxygen. Movement proves belief. Say it to yourself. I will not negotiate with fear. I will move. That's faith in motion. Now, before this day ends, record your voice reading your written goal aloud. Play it back each morning while you prepare for the day. That's not vanity, it's calibration. You are tuning your frequency to your future. Do this for 7 days straight. Watch how your energy changes. Watch how coincidences start appearing. Emails, people, ideas aligning. They were always there. Your faith just raised the volume high enough to notice. You have built the bridge halfway. Desire gave you the fire. Faith keeps it burning. Auto-suggestion turns sparks into a steady flame. In the next chapter, we move from emotion to precision, how to use knowledge as a weapon and turn information into organized power. That's where many dreamers fall. They feel deeply but never build strategically. Not you, not anymore. Prepare to sharpen your mind. We move next to the fourth principle, specialized knowledge, the art of focusing genius until it cuts through anything in its path. The path of knowledge. You've learned to light the fire. You've learned to feed it with faith and focus. Now it's time to give that fire direction, to transform raw energy into precise power. This is where so many stop. They dream beautifully, speak passionately, but build nothing. Because dreaming without discipline is daydreaming, and passion without precision burns itself out. Hill called this next law specialized knowledge, and he meant it literally. Knowledge by itself is potential energy, but when organized and applied toward a definite purpose, it becomes power. The difference between knowing and using. Hill wrote, general knowledge, no matter how great in quantity or variety, is of little use in the accumulation of money. He wasn't insulting education. He was redefining it. He meant that information is worthless until it becomes organized intelligence. Think about it. The world is overflowing with information, yet starving for clarity. Billions of people scroll through data every day, but few sit down and ask, what do I know that can change my life? The truth is, you already possess the seeds of wealth and influence. They're in your experiences, your mistakes, your curiosity. But unless you learn to channel them, to specialize, those seeds never sprout. Knowledge is like light through a magnifying glass. When scattered, it warms. When focused, it burns. Your job now is to focus. The power of focus. Let me be blunt. The world doesn't pay you for what you know. It pays you for what you do with what you know. Hill called this the organization of knowledge into definite plans of action. Here's your blueprint. 1. Identify the area where your desire and ability intersect. 2. Study everything about it. 3. Practice daily until you outgrow mediocrity. 4. Build alliances with people who complement your strengths. 5. Create something valuable enough that others are willing to pay for it. This is specialized knowledge in motion. Don't wait for credentials. Don't wait for permission. Hill reminded us that the best educated people are those who know how to get what they want without violating the rights of others. That's character and competence combined. That's leadership. The master key. Now listen carefully, because this is the quiet secret behind every empire. No one does it alone. Hill's research showed that every magnate, every inventor, every creative genius had a team, a mastermind of people whose specialized knowledge strengthened theirs. You don't need to know everything. You only need to know how to coordinate everything. Organize, delegate, communicate. These are skills of the modern builder. A person who masters cooperation multiplies their power tenfold. So who belongs in your circle? Who challenges you, sharpens you, and sees the best in you even when you can't? Make that list tonight, because your dream will grow in the soil of association. Turning knowledge into action. Here's what most people miss. They confuse learning with progress. They read another book, watch another video, take another course, but never apply. Hill's challenge was simple. Action is the real measure of intelligence. Every time you act on what you know, you claim ownership of that knowledge. Every time you hesitate, you hand that ownership back to the world. So let's turn this philosophical fire into practical power. Grab a pen. Right now, write the title, My Specialized Power. Make a list. 1. What I know. 2. Who I can serve with it. 3. How I can turn it into value. 4. The first step I can take within 24 hours. Then tomorrow. Do the first step. Don't wait for motivation. Create momentum. That's how knowledge becomes fortune. That's how dreams become deeds. The mind is an engine. Hill believed that the mind is like an engine. It generates power, but only when directed by a trained operator. You are that operator. Desire ignites the spark plugs. Faith compresses belief. Auto-suggestion adjusts the timing. Specialized knowledge supplies the fuel. When all four are synchronized, you create horsepower nothing can match. But if even one misfires, if you lack clear knowledge or your belief stutters, the engine stalls. That's why mastery requires awareness of the entire system. So step back tonight and review. What do you want? What do you believe? What do you tell yourself every day? And what are you learning that brings it closer? If any of those answers are missing, the time to fix it is now. Remember, Hill never promised overnight wealth. He promised transformation through discipline. And discipline is simply devotion to what matters most. The call to action, your first test. Let's end this first act the way Hill would have wanted, with a test of will. I want you to take a sheet of paper and write these words at the top. I am the architect of my fate. I am the commander of my mind. Then underneath, summarize your goal, your faith statement, and the area of knowledge you'll master first. Read it every morning until you know it by heart. Speak it like a contract between you and destiny, because it is. You've awakened the fire. You've built faith. You've learned to command your mind. And now you've discovered the discipline of knowledge. You are no longer a dreamer. You are a designer. The foundation is built. Now we climb. In part 2, the ascent, we move from blueprint to battle, where imagination takes shape, plans are forged, and persistence becomes your greatest weapon. If you're serious about greatness, don't pause here. Keep going, because the mountain only reveals itself to those who climb. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and share it with someone who'd love it too and needs a little inspiration today. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our next video. Together, we're building a community of learners, dreamers, and achievers. Let's keep growing, one habit at a time, one video at a time. Remember, your journey starts with one choice, and you just made it by being here. Welcome to part 2 of Think and Grow Rich, where Napoleon Hill's timeless wisdom turns into action. Discover how to master your mind, multiply your momentum, and attract wealth through purpose and persistence. Part 2, the ascent. What is the blueprint of creation? You've awakened desire. You've built the foundation of faith. Now it's time to create, not wish, not wait. Create. Every bridge, every empire, every revolution began first as a picture inside someone's mind. That picture is imagination. Hill called it the workshop of the mind. The fourth wealth principle, imagination. The workshop of the mind. Close your eyes for a moment. See it. The life you've described in writing, the one that keeps whispering, I'm possible. Hold that image, because everything you will ever build must exist here first in thought. Hill discovered that imagination works in 2 ways. 1, synthetic imagination. You take what exists and rearrange it into something new. 2, creative imagination. You tap into the invisible network of infinite intelligence and receive ideas that never existed before. Both are yours to command. Most people smother imagination with doubt before it can breathe. They see limitations instead of possibilities. But creators, leaders, train their minds to ask, how can this be done? Instead of, can it be done? That question alone separates mediocrity from mastery. From vision to blueprint, desire gives you the why. Imagination gives you the how. This is where the mind becomes a drafting table. Each idea you sketch becomes a potential doorway to your future. Picture your goal again, but this time, don't stop at the dream. Draw the path. See the people involved, the conversations, the strategy, the obstacles already conquered. Make the image move. Your mind is a film projector. Play the movie of your success every day until it feels like a memory rather than a fantasy. Hill wrote, ideas are the beginning points of all fortunes. Your next fortune might be one quiet thought away if you give yourself the silence to hear it. So take time each day to enter that workshop. 15 minutes of pure creation. No phone, no noise, just imagination, guided by purpose. Because what you design in thought today becomes architecture in your reality tomorrow. The practice of vision. Here's your exercise. Sit down with your written goal. Ask, what would this look like completed? Then reverse engineer the path step by step. This is how imagination meets planning. Hill said, first comes thought, then organization of that thought into ideas and plans, then transformation of those plans into reality. You're not daydreaming, you're building schematics. He called this creative vision. You're becoming the architect of invisible matter, designing before the world ever touches a brick. The discipline of creation. Creation without discipline collapses. Imagination without direction is hallucination. So train it. Every time inspiration hits, capture it immediately. Write, record, draw. Don't trust memory. Ideas are shy visitors. Ignore them once, and they visit someone else. Hill observed that successful people develop a habit of quick capture and rapid testing. They treat ideas as living currency, spend them, invest them, multiply them. And when one idea fails, they simply create another, because the workshop never closes. Right now, think of one idea you've ignored because you thought you weren't ready. Bring it back. Dust it off. Ask yourself, what would happen if I just started? That question could change everything. Imagination as power. Hill wrote that imagination, mixed with faith and desire, becomes the most powerful force known to man. Why? Because thought vibrates, emotion energizes it, faith gives it direction. Together they form an electromagnetic command to the universe. This must be. That's not mysticism. That's focus amplified by belief. When you hold an image long enough, your subconscious begins searching for its match in the physical world. That's why opportunities appear. They didn't appear. You tuned yourself to see them. Imagination is therefore not play, it's preparation. Every invention, every song, every business began as a mental rehearsal. You are rehearsing your greatness right now, line by line, vision by vision. Your turn to create. Take 5 minutes after this video ends and write this sentence at the top of a fresh page. My imagination is the blueprint of my destiny. Then beneath it, list 5 new ideas that could move your goal forward. Don't judge them, just write. Quantity before quality. Hill said, ideas are like seedlings. They need planting before pruning. Tomorrow choose one. Act on it. Even a small step turns imagination into motion. You now stand at the edge of creation. You have desire to burn, faith to sustain, and imagination to direct. In the next chapter, we'll build the architecture that holds it all, the organized plan, and learn the art of decisive leadership. Because thought alone builds castles in the sky. Planning builds the staircase that reaches them. Quick pause. If you're getting value from this video, go ahead and hit like button right now and subscribe to join this community of growth-minded people. We're building something powerful here, and I want you to be part of it. The architecture of action. A vision, no matter how beautiful, dies in the hands of hesitation. Dreams without structure are like blueprints left in the rain, washed away by the storm of distraction. Desire gave you direction, faith made you believe, imagination showed you the picture. But now we build. Hill called this the stage of organized planning. He wrote, you must have plans that are faultless. When one fails, replace it with another until you find one which works. This is where the dreamer becomes the engineer, the thinker becomes the builder, and your mind, once full of fire and feeling, becomes a workshop of precision. Principle 6. Organized planning. The blueprint in motion. Every goal requires a skeleton, a framework that holds your effort together. Without it, passion leaks away through cracks of confusion. So ask yourself now, what's my structure? What's my map? Who's in my crew? Because no empire is built by accident. Every empire begins with plans drawn by a steady hand and a clear mind. Hill's process was surgical. 1. Form a definite plan for carrying out your desire. 2. Begin at once, whether you're ready or not, to put that plan into action. 3. Build your plan around specialized knowledge and people who complement your weaknesses. 4. Adjust it continuously until it works flawlessly. He warned, temporary defeat is not failure. Every plan that breaks is a teacher in disguise. The only real failure is the decision to stop adjusting. So let's make this personal. What's the plan behind your dream? If you can't write it down in steps, it isn't yet a plan, it's still a wish. The strategist's mind. You need to become both artist and analyst. One part of you must dream boldly, another must measure ruthlessly. Ask yourself daily, what's working? What isn't? Where am I wasting energy? Who can help me see what I can't? That last question is crucial. Hill observed that no individual has sufficient experience or education to ensure success without the cooperation of others. He urged every ambitious mind to surround itself with allies. Not yes men, but truth tellers. Stop trying to prove you can do it all alone. That's ego disguised as independence. True strength is building systems that outlive you. A leader doesn't do everything. A leader designs everything. And that begins with organized planning. Principle 7. Decision, the master key to momentum. Every plan you create is worthless until one thing happens. Decision. Hill wrote, analysis of several hundred men who had accumulated fortunes disclosed the fact that every one of them had the habit of reaching decisions promptly and of changing these decisions slowly. The unsuccessful, he said, do the opposite. They decide slowly and change quickly. Why? Because fear whispers louder than faith, because comfort feels safer than clarity. But make no mistake, indecision is a silent killer of dreams. You've felt it before, that moment of almost acting, when the heart says go, but the mind says wait. That's the border between success and regret. The people you admire, the ones who rise, didn't know the outcome when they began. They decided anyway. They bet on action instead of analysis. You can do the same. Hill's advice was surgical. Take prompt and definite action. Stand by your decision until it becomes a habit. When you choose and commit, you awaken dormant energy within you. When you hesitate, that energy decays into doubt. Decision, therefore, is the voltage switch of the human spirit. Once flipped on, nothing glows brighter. Decision in practice. Here's how to use it. 1. Define the choice you've been avoiding. 2. List the facts, not the fears. 3. Give yourself a deadline shorter than comfort. 4. Decide. 5. Commit action within 24 hours. That's it. The rest is courage in motion. Every time you decide, you rewire your brain for leadership. Every time you delay, you reinforce your dependence on chance. So start small, but start often. Make decision a daily muscle. What to eat, when to train, who to call, what to finish. Decide faster. Train certainty, because in the absence of decision, your potential stays asleep. And you were not born to sleepwalk through possibility. The leader's promise. Leaders don't wait for perfect conditions, they create them. They act, learn, and adjust. Hill told us, do not wait. The time will never be just right. And he was right. There is no such thing as ready. There is only begin. So write this down right now. I act before I am ready. My courage will build my confidence. Repeat it until your hesitation loses its grip. That's leadership in its simplest form. Moving before clarity, trusting that motion creates momentum. Every breakthrough in human history began with one leader saying, let's go, before the map was finished. You are that leader in your story now. So decide, act, adjust, then repeat. In the next chapter, we'll strengthen what keeps leaders from collapsing when the world pushes back, persistence, and explore how to multiply your power through the Mastermind Alliance. Because success doesn't belong to those who plan perfectly. It belongs to those who refuse to stop. Now we reach the most crucial phase of part 2, the ascent, where plans are tested, discipline meets difficulty, and the dreamer transforms into a conqueror. This is the part where the average person gives up and the extraordinary one digs in. Principle 8, persistence, the fuel of persistence, leading to success. You've imagined it, you've planned it, you've decided. Now comes the test. Every dream passes through the fire of delay. Every plan is challenged by the storm of difficulty. This is where 99% fall, not because they're weak, but because they confuse temporary defeat with permanent failure. Hill called this the law of persistence, the sustained effort necessary to induce faith. Persistence isn't loud. It's quiet, stubborn courage. It's the calm voice inside that says, I don't care how long it takes. I'm not leaving without the prize. The reality of resistance. The moment you commit to something meaningful, life will test your worthiness. It's not punishment. It's calibration. The universe measures your desire before it rewards it. Hill studied this pattern across hundreds of successful people and found the same rule. Those who won never stopped when they were tired. They stopped when they were done. He wrote, most great people have attained their greatest success just one step beyond their greatest failure. Read that again, one step beyond. Meaning, while others were turning back, the winners took one more swing. That's persistence. The habit of moving forward long after motivation has left the room. And here's the truth. Persistence isn't a talent, it's a decision. It's not inherited, it's trained. You build it the same way you build muscle, through resistance. Every time you keep going, you reinforce your identity as someone who finishes. The 4 builders of persistence. Hill identified 4 critical ingredients that make persistence unbreakable. 1, purpose, a clear, burning desire. Without it, your effort evaporates. 2, plan, organized action that guides momentum. 3, mindset, a refusal to accept failure as final. 4, allies, people who believe in you when you forget to. That 4th one, allies, is the secret most never see coming. Because persistence becomes almost effortless when you're surrounded by people who won't let you quit. Which brings us to Hill's next principle, one of the most powerful he ever wrote about, the mastermind. Principle 9, the power of mastermind, the mastermind alliance. The multiplier of power. Hill called it the coordination of knowledge and effort in a spirit of harmony between 2 or more people for the attainment of a definite purpose. In simple terms, no one climbs alone. The moment 2 or more minds come together with the same intent, something mysterious happens. A third mind is born, an invisible intelligence greater than either individual. It's as if your energy doubles, your creativity expands, and courage becomes contagious. This isn't theory, it's the physics of human potential. Your thoughts have vibration. When 2 people think with the same rhythm, their frequencies combine. That's the mastermind. So ask yourself, who's in your circle? Are they fueling your faith or feeding your fear? Are you surrounded by architects of progress or victims of complaint? Because energy is transferable. You can't keep your fire burning in a room full of wet blankets. How to form your mastermind. Hill gave clear steps, and they still work a century later. 1. Choose partners who share your values, goals, and discipline. 2. Meet regularly. Consistency creates chemistry. 3. Contribute equally. Each member must bring value, knowledge, resources, or insight. 4. Maintain harmony. Conflict drains the charge. Unity multiplies it. 5. Keep purpose central. Everything you discuss must point back to the shared mission. When done right, the mastermind becomes your shield and sword. When you feel weak, it carries you. When you forget who you are, it reminds you. This is how you build unstoppable persistence through shared belief. One person with conviction can move mountains. A team with conviction can move worlds. The mindset of endurance. Hill said it best. No man is ever whipped until he quits in his own mind. That means the fight isn't out there. It's in here. You win first in thought, then in form. Here's the truth few admit. The road to success is lonely, boring, repetitive, and ruthless. You will question everything you're doing. You will want to quit 1,000 times. But the moment you feel that urge, that's the moment to push harder, because it's usually the last door before the gold mine. When you can keep showing up even when it's not exciting, that's when you become unstoppable. When your identity shifts from "I'll try" to "I always finish," that's when persistence stops being a habit and becomes your nature. Build your circle, test your will. Here's your assignment. Tonight, write down the names of 3 people who could form your personal mastermind. They can be mentors, colleagues, or friends who elevate you. Reach out, set a meeting, share your purpose. Then write this sentence on the last page of your journal. I will persist until I succeed. I will surround myself with minds that multiply my power. Read it aloud. Feel it in your chest. Own it. You've now crossed the midpoint of this journey. You've learned how to imagine, how to plan, how to decide, and how to endure. You've learned that success is not a straight climb, but a spiral, one that circles upward through faith, focus, and persistence. But we're not done. In part 3, the summit, we step into the higher mind, where power becomes purpose, where thought merges with the infinite, and where fear finally loses its grip. That's where you stop chasing success and start embodying it. You now hold the blueprint of wealth and mindset that only a few ever master, but knowledge means nothing until it's applied. So act, persist, and believe. Each decision, each thought, is either building your fortune or destroying it. The choice is always yours. Choose growth, choose faith, choose action. Join me in part 3 as we unlock the final secrets to creating lasting success. And remember, you don't grow rich by chance, you grow rich by choice. Like, share, and subscribe to Read and Rise Book Club, where books aren't just read, they're lived. Welcome to part 3 of Think and Grow Rich, where Napoleon Hill's final principles reveal how to master your subconscious mind, awaken the sixth sense, and transform your mindset into a magnet for success. We've reached the final act, part 3, the summit. Here we move from strategy to mastery, from physical achievement to mental and spiritual power. This is where Napoleon Hill takes us beyond wealth and into wisdom. The power within. You've climbed high. You've built the plan. You've endured the storms. You've refused to quit. Now the air gets thinner, because few ever reach this point. Here, success stops being about what you have and becomes about who you are. This is the realm where power becomes purpose, and the inner world commands the outer one. Napoleon Hill called this chapter of life the mystery of sex transmutation. Strange phrase? Yes. But beneath it lies one of the most profound truths ever written. Your creative energy is the most powerful force you will ever possess. The mystery of energy. Hill observed something that science later confirmed. The emotion of sex is the strongest human desire. It fuels not only reproduction, but creation in every form. Invention, art, business, and genius. When uncontrolled, it becomes obsession or distraction. When disciplined, it becomes genius. Sex transmutation simply means redirecting raw energy into creative expression. Hill discovered that every great leader he studied, industrialists, inventors, artists, shared one trait. They had learned to convert passion into productivity. He wrote, "The emotion of sex brings into being a state of mind." Because of it, people of great achievement are those who have learned the art of transmuting their sexual energy into creative and productive outlets. Think about that. The same force that creates life can create empires, when you master it instead of being mastered by it. This is not repression, it's refinement. You don't kill the energy, you elevate it. Hill compared it to steam. Uncontrolled, it burns. Controlled, it powers locomotives. That's the essence of transmutation. using your most primal force to power your highest vision. So here's your challenge. Whenever you feel that fire, that pull of passion, don't waste it. Channel it into work, creation, movement, art, service, leadership. Because every time you direct energy upward instead of outward, you forge power that few ever experience. Turning passion into purpose. Let's be honest, most people drift through life never realizing how much power they waste on fleeting impulses. They chase temporary pleasure instead of lasting creation, and they wonder why they always feel empty afterward. But the moment you decide to redirect that same energy into something meaningful, the project, the dream, the mission, something incredible happens. Your focus sharpens, your drive multiplies, your mind catches fire. Hill called this emotional transmutation. When love, desire, and purpose combine, they produce a vibration so powerful that it magnetizes opportunity. You felt it before. Those moments when your vision pulled you instead of you pushing it. That's what Hill meant by creative energy in motion. So take this to heart. You are not meant to suppress passion. You are meant to direct it. Every strong emotion is fuel. Every longing can be repurposed. Channel it upward, not outward. Toward creation, not consumption. The subconscious mind, the connecting link. And now, the final engine that ties every principle together. The subconscious mind. Hill called it the connecting link between the finite mind of man and the infinite intelligence. Think of it as your internal supercomputer, always running, always listening, always obeying the commands you feed it. It doesn't judge. It doesn't argue. It simply takes your dominant thoughts and turns them into outcomes. Whatever you plant there, faith or fear, success or defeat, the subconscious nurtures until it becomes reality. Hill wrote, "The subconscious mind works day and night. It translates into reality a thought, driven by emotion and faith." That's why he was obsessed with autosuggestion, because repetition programs the subconscious. Every affirmation, every visualization, every mental rehearsal, these are not positive thinking. They are mental instructions. You are the programmer. Your subconscious is the obedient machine. When you combine that programming with emotional energy, the kind generated by desire, faith, and transmuted passion, you become unstoppable. So let's be practical. Start your mornings with clarity and command. Close your eyes and speak your definite purpose with conviction. See it. Feel it. That emotion charges your subconscious battery for the day. Then, here's the secret. Guard your inputs. Whatever you see, read, and hear becomes data for your subconscious. If you feed it garbage, don't expect gold. Choose what you consume the way a warrior chooses a weapon, deliberately. Your subconscious mind builds whatever you continually rehearse. Rehearse excellence, and excellence becomes effortless. The invisible connection. Hill believed the subconscious is your private line to infinite intelligence, the universal source of ideas, inspiration, and synchronicity. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions align, you open that channel. That's when coincidences start happening. You meet the right people, stumble upon the right opportunity, receive insights at the perfect moment. That's not luck. That's resonance. You've tuned your frequency to the results you desire. So here's what to do tonight before you sleep. Review your definite purpose statement. See yourself already there. Feel gratitude as if it has happened. Then whisper, "I am ready to receive ideas, guidance, and inspiration from infinite intelligence." Go to sleep with that vibration. Your subconscious will work while you rest, assembling plans, drawing connections, solving problems. Hill called it night shift work of the mind. You may wake with answers that feel like revelation, and they will be. Master the inner engine. Here's your next step. For the next 7 days, feed your subconscious only strength. No complaints, no gossip, no fear. Only thoughts of progress, gratitude, and creative purpose. Every night, Visualize your success until emotion overwhelms logic. You are writing your future on the walls of your mind. Say this out loud right now. My energy creates. My thoughts command. My faith directs. My subconscious obeys. This is the power within you, the ability to command the invisible, to mold emotion into matter, and to build a bridge between desire and destiny. In the next chapter, we'll explore how the mind itself becomes a transmitter of thought, a broadcasting station tuned to the infinite. You'll learn how to amplify your creative power and attract the people, ideas, and events that align with your purpose. Because once you master the inner world, the outer world begins to follow. Now, this next section fuses the brain and the sixth sense, representing Napoleon Hill's most elevated ideas. The higher frequency of thought, intuition, and the link to infinite intelligence. The mind is a transmitter. You have awakened your inner fire. You've learned to channel your passion into purpose and to program your subconscious mind with faith and conviction. Now let's expand that power outward, because thought, my friend, is not silent. It's vibration. Every time you think with emotion, your mind becomes a broadcasting station, sending frequencies into the world and receiving others in return. That is not metaphor, it's mechanism. Napoleon Hill called it the brain, the broadcasting and receiving station for thought. The human transmitter. Hill believed that every human brain is both a sending and receiving station for thought vibration. When you combine emotion with focus, faith, desire, love, or passion, the energy of your thought radiates beyond your body. He wrote, when stimulated by emotion, the mind becomes more receptive to vibrations of thought. These vibrations are picked up and transmitted from one brain to another. It's the same principle behind radio. But here's the twist. You are the transmitter. Your belief is the signal. Your faith is the amplifier. Your imagination is the dial. When you focus your mind on a definite purpose and charge it with feeling, you're sending that frequency into the universe, and it responds. That's why some call it intuition, others call it divine timing. But Hill described it as infinite intelligence, the great universal network that connects every mind. You're part of that network whether you realize it or not. The only question is, what are you transmitting? Tuning your signal. Every thought you hold with conviction becomes a magnetic broadcast. When fear dominates, you attract reasons to fear. When gratitude dominates, you attract reasons to give thanks. This isn't mysticism. It's focus multiplied by repetition. You train your perception until your mind recognizes only opportunities aligned with your vibration. Hill compared it to tuning a radio. The ether is filled with energy which can be picked up through the brain. The rate of vibration determines the frequency one may receive. So if you want to change your life, change your frequency. Stop broadcasting doubt. Start broadcasting direction. Here's how. 1. Define your desired reality clearly. 2. Charge it with feeling. Visualize and emotionalize it daily. Third act, in alignment with that vibration. Over time, your mind begins to attract circumstances, people, and ideas vibrating at the same level. You don't chase, you magnetize. This is what Hill meant when he said, thoughts are things. They are not vapor. They are substance in motion. And the clearer your thought, the stronger your broadcast. Principle 13, the sixth sense, the doorway to infinite intelligence. Beyond the transmitter lies a deeper truth, the sixth sense, the crown jewel of Hill's philosophy. He described it as the faculty through which infinite intelligence may communicate voluntarily, without effort, through flashes of inspiration. You've felt it before, that gut feeling, that sudden idea that feels too precise to be random. That's not chance, that's reception. When your conscious, subconscious, and emotional energies are in harmony, your brain becomes receptive to a higher plane of information. You begin to receive ideas that seem to come from nowhere, but they come from everywhere. Hill called this the temple of wisdom. It's not mystical, it's mental alignment. When fear fades, intuition speaks. When doubt quiets, guidance enters. Your job is not to force revelation, it's to stay tuned to it. That means living in faith, acting with clarity, and practicing stillness. Because the sixth sense whispers, it never shouts. Hill wrote, through the aid of the sixth sense, one may communicate with infinite intelligence and draw upon the storehouse of knowledge available to the human race. That means everything humanity has ever discovered, every idea, invention, and insight already exists in the ether of intelligence. You don't have to create from scratch, you only have to connect. The state of receptivity. So how do you open the sixth sense? You practice mental stillness and emotional purity. Hill said that fear is the great block. Faith is the great bridge. To receive inspiration, you must remove interference. That means cleansing your mind of anger, jealousy, and doubt. Those are static. They distort the signal. Cultivate love, gratitude, and purpose. Those are high-frequency emotions. They open your mind's receiver. When you live in that frequency long enough, guidance flows naturally. You'll make decisions faster, solve problems intuitively, and meet the right people at the right time. That is not magic. That is alignment. And alignment is the summit of human power. Call to action, become the broadcast. Here's your challenge for this week. Every morning, spend 5 minutes in silence. No screens, no noise. Just breathe. Picture your goal, repeat your purpose, and feel it already done. Then say aloud, I am a transmitter of faith. I send clarity. I receive guidance. Go through your day with that awareness. Every word you speak, every thought you repeat, every feeling you entertain is a signal. Ask yourself before every action, is this in tune with the frequency of the life I'm building? If not, change the channel. When you master this, life begins to respond differently. People appear who fit your mission. Ideas arrive just when you need them. Doors open that logic can't explain. That's not luck. That's resonance. That's the mind at full power. Broadcasting faith, receiving inspiration, living in partnership with the infinite. You've learned to create from thought, to channel emotion into power, and now to broadcast your vision to the universe itself. But before you ascend fully, there's one last barrier left to conquer: fear, the ghosts that guard the gates of greatness. In the final segment, we'll face them together and cross into the place where the mind knows no limits. We now enter the grand finale of Think and Grow Rich, the final gate. This is the emotional summit, where the dreamer becomes master of mind and the leader within awakens completely. It will cover the 6 ghosts of fear, the 6th sense in action, and the final call to greatness. The final gate. You've come far. You've built the fire of desire, the bridge of faith, and the discipline of persistence. You've learned to harness imagination, command your subconscious, and broadcast your thoughts into the infinite. But now at the highest point of the climb, the summit, there is one last gate to cross. It is not guarded by the world. It is guarded by your own mind. Hill called them the 6 ghosts of fear, and until you defeat them, the door to infinite power will not open. The 6 ghosts of fear. Fear. It is the invisible prison that keeps powerful people average. It whispers, it delays, it deceives. Hill said there are 6 main forms of fear, and every human battle begins with one of them. 1. The fear of poverty. 2. The fear of criticism. 3. The fear of ill health. 4. The fear of loss of love. 5. The fear of old age. 6. The fear of death. These ghosts don't roar. They whisper. They hide inside hesitation, perfectionism, procrastination. They live in sentences like, what will people think? What if I fail? What if I'm not ready? But Hill was blunt. Fear is nothing more than a state of mind. And the antidote to fear is the same force that built everything in this journey: faith. Faith and fear cannot occupy the same space. Feed one, and the other starves. So every day you must choose your master. The fear of poverty. This is the root of all the others. It paralyzes ambition, kills initiative, and replaces drive with despair. Hill said, "The fear of poverty destroys one's sense of reason. When you worry about money, you stop thinking clearly. You make decisions from scarcity, not strategy. And scarcity breeds more scarcity. The cure? Gratitude and creation. Every time you act to produce value, to give something useful to the world, you weaken this fear's grip. Because value creates wealth, and wealth follows service. Never bow to fear of loss. Bow only to the mission that creates gain for others. That's how abundance returns." The fear of criticism. This is the fear that keeps millions silent. It's the reason geniuses die with their ideas still in their notebooks. Hill said, "Fear of criticism robs man of initiative, destroys power of imagination, and limits individuality. Listen, you cannot lead and be loved by everyone at the same time. Every visionary must one day be misunderstood. That's the price of authenticity. So decide right now, would you rather be approved or remembered? Because history does not record the comfortable. It records the courageous. When you feel the sting of criticism, know this. It means you've left the crowd, and that's where all progress begins." The fear of ill health and loss of love. Hill paired these because they both infect peace of mind. Worrying about losing what you love, your health, your relationships, attracts the very outcome you dread. The body reflects the mind, and the mind, when filled with anxiety, poisons the system. So guard your emotions. Choose peace deliberately. Choose movement, rest, nutrition, sunlight, not as habits, but as declarations of power. And when it comes to love, don't cling from fear of loss. Love freely, love deeply, but never let fear of losing it enslave you. Because true love multiplies when given, not hoarded. The fear of old age and death. Age is not decay, it is refinement. The only people who fear growing older are those who wasted their youth. Hill saw old age not as decline, but as distillation. The time when wisdom overtakes ambition, when clarity replaces confusion. The fear of death, he said, is the cruelest illusion, because no one truly fears death. We fear the unlived life. So live. While you have breath, build. While you can move, serve. While you can dream, dare. Death doesn't end legacy, fear does. Transcending fear through the sixth sense. Now we return to the sixth sense, the faculty that speaks only when fear is silent. This is intuition, divine inspiration, infinite intelligence flowing through you without effort. When you conquer fear, that channel opens fully. You begin to sense when to act, where to go, whom to trust. The right ideas come as whispers. The right paths appear as certainty. This is the reward of mastery, not control over others, but control over self. Hill wrote, "When the mind has been so conditioned that it vibrates on a high frequency of faith, the sixth sense becomes active and brings guidance from infinite intelligence." That's where you're standing now. At the highest vibration of belief, at the summit. The summit, the final realization. Take a breath. Look back over the mountain you've climbed. Desire, faith, auto-suggestion, knowledge, imagination, planning, decision, persistence, mastermind. Then the higher steps, transmutation, subconscious, brain, sixth sense. You've mastered every rung of the ladder Napoleon Hill spent 25 years building, and now you see it clearly. Success was never about money. It was about mindset. Wealth was never the goal. It was the reflection of your growth. Everything you've needed was already within you. Hill's message wasn't think and grow rich. It was think and grow powerful. Because when you think rightly, with purpose, discipline, and faith, Riches, relationships, and recognition follow naturally. The real treasure is mastery over thought. That's the summit. The call to action, your legacy. Now it's your turn to lead. You've listened, learned, imagined, planned, persisted. But this mountain isn't climbed to stay on top. It's climbed so you can guide others upward. That's the real purpose of power. Service. So here's your final challenge. The one Hill would whisper if he could stand beside you today. Decide now who you will become in service to others. Use your mind to create, your heart to lead, and your spirit to uplift. Wealth will come. Recognition will come. But character? That's the crown of kings. Say it with me now. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. Because you are. You've reached the summit. You've conquered fear. You've tuned your mind to infinite intelligence. Now go down the mountain and teach others how to rise. You've now completed one of the most powerful journeys in personal success ever written. But remember, thinking rich is only the beginning. Acting rich is where transformation begins. Your beliefs shape your habits build your destiny, and your actions create your fortune. So take what you've learned and live it every single day. Because success doesn't come to those who wait, it comes to those who decide. Decide today to think, act, and grow rich in every area of your life. Subscribe to Read and Rise Book Club, where books don't just inspire you, they rewire you.